welcome into camp, everybody. We've unpacked everything. I've brought the Naya Eva 60C camera backpack with me, and I've done an unpacking video on that, because it's a camera bag, and I've done a million unpacking pack videos on this channel. I'll put that on the camera channel, probably already up there, as I've already done it, and I tend to do my videos concurrently, if that's the right word. So please do check that video out. Unfortunately, it's a little bit damp underfoot today, so we did get a little bit wet on the tutties coming in, but it's middle of summer, so feet will dry off. I didn't bring a towel at all, actually, this time. I was thinking, well, it's the middle of summer, probably won't even need one. We're in the Littlestar, and we've got it pitched obviously in the reverse to how we would, normally pitch a Trailstar. So it's going to be interesting, because we have got rain coming in, and imminently. It's coming up to 6, and according to the forecast, it should be coming from the southwest, which should be kind of behind us that way, and we're kind of, I think northeast is that way, we're kind of facing eastish. I think we kind of ended up being, yeah, we're sort of east northeast. We're nearer the east than we are northeast, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to pump this up. Obviously, because we've brought the camera with me and a lens, well, a second lens, then we've tried to keep everything else as absolute minimalistic as possible. So we've got the bag cover, sleeping bag cover, if needed. A polycro ground sheet. I don't think we're going to have any bugs. I've got creams and such like. I've got a head net. So we're going to blow this up, and then I think I'm going to get into bed, because it's only coming up to 6 o'clock, and it won't get dark for another 3 hours. But the weather is going to get progressively worse, and it's a bit cool. It's not very nice. So I'm going to blow this up, I'm going to get into bed, and then we will catch up in a minute. Basically, obviously, my nighttime attire will be my wind shirt, beanie, merino socks, pillow, and I'll put my t-shirt on, I think, today. My leggings, that's the head net if needed, and my lightweight down jacket. So this is my lightest PhD down jacket. That's the M degree sleeping bag, because it's quite mild now, so I should be okay with that one. Anyway, I'm going to get into bed. I've had a pee, so I'll be alright for that until a bit later, then I can piddle out the door. So for dinner this evening, we could have the cheap and cheerful pot noodle things, mug shots, but we'll save those. We're going to have chicken korma with rice, or Thai green chicken curry with rice. I don't think it really matters which one we have, really. I'm guessing the weight is probably which is the heaviest. That one actually feels heavier but needs less water. But it feels, so we'll have this one. It feels heavier, so we may as well go for the one that feels heavier and save weight if we actually move our lazy asses tomorrow morning, which we probably, well, the plan actually tomorrow is that we're not going to go in the morning, but we will plan to go in the afternoon over yonder hill. We're not going to go very far. We're going to keep this a very, very simple, easy, just a relaxing. There's so much going on at home. My dad's still in rehab. He's making some progress, but not much. So I reckon he's going to be home with me sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. If he doesn't make much more progress, then I think they'll kick him out of rehab in the next couple of weeks, and then he'll be home with me. And because he owns a property, we were lucky with a mum, because the mum had carers, but they looked at the care separately. So because she didn't have any money, they paid for mum. So we kind of got away with for mum, thankfully. But my dad, because he's got his pharmacy shop, the building, you know, he's at the moment, we're kind of that's leased, and while he's still in the land of the living, basically, we don't really want to sell the shop if we can avoid it. Because to be fair, my mum and dad, if you've seen my video about what I do for a living, or what I don't do for a living, you know, they kind of look after me. So we've got to sell something, basically, and we don't really want to sell the shop, because if we sell the shop, then he's lost the income from the lease. Okay, you get the money for selling the shop, but I don't think we're going to get as much for it as we potentially could or should. So we're going to be better off selling the house that my mum and dad were living in, and then move my dad in with me, put him in the dining room, which is where I was doing my computer stuff and live streams whenever I did a live stream. So I'm probably going to end up putting the computer in the lounge, and then have my dad in the dining room for the remaining amount of time, you know, that he has. Which, to be fair, should be a while. Apart from his mobility, he's not doing too bad. He's still with it to a large degree. He's got this hydrocephalus. It's water on the brain, basically. And because of his age, and he's got a hernia which has is extended into one of his testicles. So he's got like an enlarged testicle. So it's details about my dad. And because he's like 83, you know, they can't confirm that it's hydrocephalus, but we're pretty sure that it probably is. They thought that maybe it was Parkinson's, but it hasn't really changed in the last 2 years. So they can't rule out Parkinson's, but it probably isn't. It probably is hydrocephalus, but they can't test for it, because to test for it, you have to put a tube into your lower back, drain the liquid out of the spine, which in turn drains the liquid out of the brain, and then they can then test, you know, your memory and your functions and your mobility. And obviously if things improve, then it's hydrocephalus. And then they put a tube in your brain all the way down your back or something into your stomach, and then that helps drain the fluid from the brain out. But the problem is, one, he's 83, two, he's got because he's got the hernia, they'd have to operate on the hernia, so they'd have to put him out for that, dragging him into the hospital every time to do it. So you'd have to put him out for that, operate on the hernia, let that heal, then operate and do a hydrocephalus test, which basically is the tube in the back that drains the liquid out. So again, you've got to be put out for that, do that test, and then if it is that, then obviously do another operation to put a tube between the brain and the stomach. And you can't do any of that, you can't even test without sorting out the hernia first, which isn't really affecting him. So we've kind of sort of come to the conclusion that given his age and everything else, the better that he has the quality of life that he currently has without, you know, effing it up anymore, basically. So before he fell out of bed, when the hospital bed that the NHS has supplied him failed, which meant he fell out of bed, but of course because of his age it's probably not worth suing. You know, we're in the position now where we now have to give him care, because before, even though his mobility wasn't very good, he didn't need care. He was able to do everything that he needed to do himself, pretty much. Like, I did his shopping and but you know, he was able to warm his food up. He just had those, you know, easy prepare meals. Basically, you know, he put his food in the microwave, basically. But he was everything was to hand. So he moved around his room, basically, furniture walking, they call it. And he was doing that perfectly happily until that NHS bed failed and he fell out of bed, banged his head, and now his memory is not as good as it was. It's not bad, but it's not as good as it was. And his mobility is shot. He can move, but it's not like it was before. So we'll have to get carers in. And obviously how many carers and how often will depend on his mobility and how much I can do. And without being horrible, obviously because they've left everything to me, the more that I can do without killing myself when he drops dead. You know, when he passes, then, you know, there'll be more coming my way, as it were. Yeah, the weather forecast said that fog and mist was coming in. It has come in up high. Hello, you. Yeah, but we're certainly going to have to get carers in. I mean, there's only so much that I can do. So, like I said, you know, we'll play it by ear. And yeah, and just go from there, really. But we're not going to get a huge amount for the house because they basically just never did anything to the house. So we won't get a huge amount for that because that, you know, a lot of work will have to be done by whoever buys the house. So you've kind of got to knock off the price, your asking price, and we'd probably just end up doing an auction. You know, so that people can then buy it and then have money left over to do it up. Hello. Oh, mwah. You good girl. So yeah, we've got all that to sort. We've got all that to sort out now, haven't we? But we'll get him with me, and then obviously if he's with me, then better that he's with me, because obviously if he goes into a care home, then all of his money basically, you know, goes on care homes then. But at least if he's with me, you know, my boiler my boiler doesn't work anymore, so I don't get any hot water. So obviously we can get a new boiler, and there'll probably be one or two other little things that probably need doing around the house that will obviously be needed for my dad. So, you know, we can probably get little things done, you know, for his benefit, because he will need that. And then obviously at some point in the future, Bella can benefit from it. Oh. Like I said, you know, you've got to try and laugh and smile. I'm going to try and laugh and smile, oh, Bella, your way through life as much as you possibly can. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what it's like me working. I don't really working, editing out of the lounge, but it should be okay. It's just a matter of just moving a few things around, and we'll kind of like go from there really. But that's an update on family. Oh, and then the other thing is, with a mum, I didn't bother having a funeral. We just did that thing where they just like cremate the body and then you just pick up the ashes afterwards. Because my mum and I, we don't really know. You know, it really was just us. We didn't know anybody. And to be fair, I did my funeral with Sue, and I've done my grandparents, and hello. To be fair, I don't want to go through all that funeral stuff. I can miss and avoid all of that without any worries. And I was thinking of doing the same with my dad, but then a friend said, but he's got friends who might want to pay their last respects, but none of them see him now. So I kind of sort of thinking, yeah, he's got friends who want to pay their last respects, but they don't ever bother seeing him in life, which seems a bit of an odd one. That one. So I don't know what I'll end up doing. I mean, obviously I'm talking about like he's going to go tomorrow, but to be fair, I think he'll go on for a while longer. I think we'll get a few more years out of him, but you know, I don't know. So yeah, we'll have to think about at the time of when he does go, you know, whether I go through a funeral and so a few of his friends can turn up, or because I just don't want to do it, to be fair. I just I don't know, it's just a bit of a not allergy. I'm not allergic to funerals, but yeah, I just don't. I can do without all of that stuff. Looking at a box and everything. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. I'm curious, you know, as to what other people have done, thoughts, you know, on that one. Anyway, this chicken curry. Oh, well. This chicken curry might be nearly ready. It's been... Well, actually, I'll leave it another 5 minutes. Just to make absolutely sure. We had... Oh, I'm going to have to watch my... Because we're... Because we're in the Littlestar, the bed it almost goes outside the end because it's really not very big in here. And my plastic sheet is almost outside, so I'll have to remember that because we're going to get rain. So, and we've already had one little shower and then it buggered off. So before I go to sleep or anything, one, I will pull the sheet in a little bit, and two, I'll put the bag cover over the foot end. I may not bother about oh dear me. I may not bother about pulling it, you know, all the way up because at the moment it's quite cozy. I'm quite comfortable. But yeah, I may very well just put the bag cover, you know, over the end of the bed, just in case my sleeping bag, you know, creeps out during the night. It shouldn't, because I have pitched the back quite close to the ground, so I don't think my feet will go outside. But if the mat slips out, you know, and then I yank it back in again and it's got damp, then I don't want that getting on the sleeping bag, so we'll kind of play that one by ear. But the temperature at the moment is 11.9. It's really nice here. It was quite windy coming over the top and down the other side, but this little patch here is really nice and sheltered here, because up top, check the forecast, and all night and tomorrow morning it's gusting up to 30 miles per hour, but down here there's barely a breeze. Down here it's really quite pleasant. So tomorrow morning we'll probably just wait in camp because it's probably going to be raining most of the morning, and then I'd like to go and take some photographs of that little waterfall which is just over there, and then we'll just do a short walk over the other side. We won't go far tomorrow. Like I say, we'll just do a chilling out, relaxing, easy camp, easy trip, and then we'll go from there. Really, like I said, I don't know the exact plans. Hopefully I'll get out camping again later June or early July, and then I'd like to get out again before the summer holidays. And I have got a house sitter for August for the pets, and I've checked and she's okay being there when my dad's there, so she's happy to work around that. So hopefully in August we'll do something similar to what we did last year, and that's maybe kind of go down to Dartmoor and then do something in the interior of Dartmoor or something like that. I don't know, because there's no point in going anywhere else in August. It'll be too busy in the roads and everything else like that. So I think August would hopefully, fingers crossed, you know, get down to Dartmoor, you know, and do something down there, and then we'll just, you know, go from there, really. All right. Well, I think let's try this. Let's try this now. So the good thing with the expedition meals is you get another tail line here. So this is Thai green chicken curry. That's not bad. It's probably not my favourite of theirs. I think a chicken korma will be nicer. This one maybe a little bit of salt and pepper, which I didn't bring with me. But it's not bad. It's not bad all the same though. I've got several of these at home, and they are handy now and again. I need to do more of my own. Not bad. Alright, well, I'm going to have that and carry on with Clarkson's farm. Time coming up to 8, so sunset 9:30, dusk 10:20, and it's 8 o'clock. So we've still got 2 hours of light left, basically. I always find it amazing. I know it probably sounds silly, but I always find it amazing that in the summer, it's like not dark until like gone 10 o'clock at night. And in the winter, it's like dark at just gone 4 o'clock. It's like that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's like 6 hours difference. I just find it amazing. I don't know. It sounds silly, I know. I just find it amazing that there is literally 6 hours of daylight difference. You know, in the spring or something like that, or late winter, it would have been dark, you know, now at 8 o'clock for at least an hour or 2 or 3 or 4. Oh. Anyway, catch up later or in the morning.